welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is Thursday, August 14th, about 5:30 in the afternoon. Leeds Steelers week
Mm-hmm.
2 preseason. I guess we can hit back on week 1 a little bit. Is there anything you remember, can recall that you want to talk about from week 1?
It looked like they played decent. Was it Skylar? Is it Skylar Thompson? I think
Yeah,
that's his name.
Skylar Thompson was in there.
He kind of balled out a little bit. I mean, I know it was a preseason game, and they were probably playing against the third team
He's no
defense.
Shador.
He's no Shador, no, for sure. But he did pretty well. I'm kind of excited to see about some of the guys that are going to play the rest of the preseason that possibly make the cut. I think the Steelers may have found their own Edelman with that guy number oh God, what's his name? He scored a touchdown with him. I can't think of his name, but I think it was like 34 maybe was the number.
What are you trying to say about all white guys?
I think they found their Edelman. I think they did. He did pretty well, and so I just kind of liked what I saw a little bit with the guys that were out there playing. So it looked pretty good. I mean, I get that wasn't starters, but the guys that are out, they did really well.
Yeah, it's going to be similar this week. Not a lot of guys are going to start, and I actually have I figured through Tomlin's press conference from today, just to follow through with things. But there's like a list of 20 guys that aren't going to play this week, similar to last week where they didn't play many guys. But it was nice to see Roman Wilson get some touches early on in the game. I thought that was something to look forward to. Mason looked good. Yeah, I mean, the people you wanted to look good, I think looked good. And there weren't too many other people out there, you know what I mean? But overall, it's you can't get too excited for over a game on August 7th when the way the preseason is nowadays, no one's really going to play.
Yeah.
Tomlin, he in the past, you got some playing time for guys that were a little younger that you were trying to rely on, I guess. Like Pickett played a lot during the preseason that he was expected to be coming in. A lot's relative, I guess. He had five series, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What he ended up being, but
yeah.
Rudolph. I mean, 9 of 10, 84 yards and a touchdown. That was very good. Jacksonville played a lot of guys. It wasn't no one out there. Skylar Thompson ended up 20 of 28 for 233 and 3 touchdowns, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
You're talking about your receiver. It's Max Hurlman is his name.
Yeah.
He had 2 catches for 29 yards. He's a running back. So I don't know where he's going to fit in the Edelman tree.
Yeah.
But he did look good. He did look fun out there.
Yeah.
You wanted to see Caleb Johnson look a little better. Hopefully he gets more touches. He had 8 carries. Hopefully he gets some more touches and it looks a little better out there this week. But overall, I mean, it is what it is. 31-25 victory for them there. Let's get to Tomlin and what he has to say about this week.
Yeah.
Really excited about this preseason matchup against the Bucs. Equally as excited about the work that we get an opportunity to get done here today with them in a practice setting. The work that we do will be normal work that we do. We're following a normal practice schedule in terms of the drill work, but it's just good to do it against some unfamiliar faces, to get that experience of going against maybe some unfamiliar schemes and just seeing our adaptability, both as players and coaches and as a collective. It's just a lot of really good work that you get when you get an opportunity to work with a practice partner. Got a lot of respect for Coach Bowles and staff, and so I expect it to be a highly competitive and a highly productive day. They got some top quality players. It's just really good to pit your talents against theirs in a practice setting. We're going to do various forms of situational ball. I was just talking to the team this morning how special Mike Evans is in the tight red zone, for example. And so we get an opportunity to play some tight red zone ball against a guy like that. Obviously, we're going to have some team run periods. We got to block a guy like Vita Vea or deal with an experienced linebacker, man, like Levante David, who has done it at a really high level for a long time. And so it's just really good at this stage of collective development to be put in a different environment against some different people and get presented some different challenges, but kind of do the things that we do on a day-to-day basis during this time of year. And so that's why I'm excited about today, Saturday night. I'm also excited about getting an opportunity for some preseason ball in our home venue. Another step in development. Is reasonable to expect us to be more varsity in our operations. And by that, I mean, pre-snap penalties and things that are within our control, how we function, how we communicate, hopefully the cleanliness of play. Although for a first time out, we weren't overly sloppy in some of those areas the last time, which is a good thing. It's just no substitute for in-stadium environments in terms of some of those things. We got some really good situational ball the first time around. We got a 2-minute drive on offense in the first half. We got 2-minute sequence with defense in the second half. And so really excited about taking a step in some of those areas. As far as anticipated play time, I'm going to play this preseason game very much like we did the first one in terms of participation. The same collection of guys that were held out the last time will comprise the guys that are held out this time. Those include Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren, the 2 tight ends, Muth and Jonnu, Isaac Seumalo on the offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, the 3 edge guys, TJ, Highsmith. Maybe I'll let Herbert play a little bit. It depends on how much quality work he gets today. Cam won't play. Pat Queen won't play. Those core secondary guys that I held out last time, I will hold out this time. Again, we'll make our decisions on a week-to-week basis based on development and performance. As I've mentioned repeatedly in this process, different guys for a variety of reasons need different amounts of work in an effort to be ready, and an effort for us to evaluate their talent level or what they're capable of. Some of those veteran guys I mentioned been doing it for a long time, and particularly at a high level, coupled with the fact I've liked what I've seen from them in a practice setting is the reason why sometimes I move that collective out of the way to provide more snaps for others, and they can develop skill and show talents. And so largely we're going to play this game in terms of participation very similar to how we played game 1. We'll make decisions regarding next week based on the totality of a lot of things. But that's where we are right here as we sit here today, excited about the opportunity for those that do play, opportunity to take a step forward, particularly those that are in their first NFL experience. Man, it's reasonable to expect those guys to make a dramatic step between first experience and second experience. Guys like Caleb Johnson and others, man, we expect to really take a step and show growth, and more importantly, let their talent show.
He didn't really give me any outs to get out of there, but he talked about a couple different things there.
He just kept going, yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't. First of all, we're playing Tampa this week, and they're actually practicing together. That's something they did last year with Buffalo too. He's going to be asked a couple questions on it, so we can go into that a little bit further down the line into this press conference. But I think the big thing here so far is I don't see them playing many of these guys throughout the whole preseason, right? You would think now that you're down to 3 preseason games, in the past, that last preseason game was always like a time where no one played really. It was mostly the guys that weren't going to be on the roster. And so the question is, like, is that going to change now since there's only 3? I mean, I would have expected – so I'm not surprised with Rodgers. I mean, he's old enough, and he got hurt this week in practice. It seemed like they were wrapping up his calf. So nothing major, obviously, but it putting him out there, he could have a non-contact injury and be gone for the year. So I get that. Yeah. But a lot of these other guys, you think you want to see them play in live action, but maybe, like you said, practice has been good enough to do it, especially when you can bring in like a team like Tampa and ahead of time to practice. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like you said, in the past, we would usually maybe see them a drive or two, like the first couple games. But maybe now with it being a shorter preseason, maybe Tomlin and some of these other teams, the head coaches are kind of like, well, we'd rather kind of save our guys till the starting week. Of course, you would think they would want the practice to at least be out there, but maybe they want to keep their guys healthy until week 1. Barring any type of season-ending or severe injury that these guys could make during the preseason, because of course it can happen, because accidents can happen, anything can happen. But maybe that's the plan now. Maybe that's the game plan going forward now with a shorter preseason, that they're going to have these guys sit out all season and just practice. When they practice, and then when week one starts, they'll all be out there because they know who the starters are, and they're just going to, play all the other guys that they do have, just to kind of see who's going to make that 53-man roster. So I think I don't foresee now at this point seeing any of the guys that are going to be starters out there at all for the preseason. I think from now and for the future, I think that's what's going to be the new culture now for the NFL.
Yeah, it's been going that way too for a good bit, but I'm gonna expect them to gain another regular season game. The NFL push back, but once that comes into play, there might be a scenario where they just say, "Hey, we're gonna quit with preseason altogether."
Yeah.
And then go to an 18-game regular season.
Mm-hmm.
College football doesn't really have a preseason either. A lot of times, the gap in talent between the different levels of different things, like you're gonna have cupcakes early on that can help you build up. There's no cupcakes in the NFL, obviously, so you can't do something like that. You're gonna have these squad practices. Maybe they'll help out a little bit. It's gonna be interesting to see whether or not everyone's ready to go. Might be that's going on to the next thing. He did mention about wanted to see less penalties and everything, but yeah, I didn't notice anything too sloppy game one, right? Did you notice?
I didn't notice anything. It looked like it was pretty good. Of course, we saw the whole, there was a lot of flags that should have been called on, the other on the Jags, but they weren't. That's just what it's going to be. It is what it is. You're going to get that every game. But no, they looked like they played well. It wasn't too sloppy. Let's just hope that, because this is something we've talked about now with us going into, I think, our third NFL season. Doing this, I think that this is something we've talked about with this team, with the penalties being a big thing. And maybe. All we can do is hope that, as, they're going through this preseason and they're going through the practice and stuff, that they can clean this up for the upcoming season. So, but it looked pretty good this past game against the Jaguars. So I didn't see too much of it being sloppy. So it looked pretty well while they were playing out there.
Yeah, I didn't notice much at all. But let's go back to Tom and see what questions he gets asked this week.
That'll be enough for me talking. I'll pause and open up for questions.
You saw a lot from your pass game, your play action game last week. Would you like to see more from your run game? Focus maybe a little bit more on that this week?
The last time we wanted to make sure that we saw a good sampling of Mason Rudolph versus their first unit. They were playing their first unit there early on. And so, our agenda may change this week, but a lot of it has to do with, maybe how they choose to play it. They, meaning the Bucs, meaning who they play and the schematics they deploy. But largely, we're in this mindset that we're going to play this game similarly to how we played the last one.
Is anybody out due to injury?
Yes.
Is anybody out due to injury?
Potentially, but in the preseason, man, 48 hours plus is a long way away. And so I don't want to exclude anyone at this juncture. We'll make those decisions at the 11th hour, Friday evening, Saturday morning even, regarding who's available and who's not from an injury perspective. It's day to day this time of year. One thing we want to do is definitively give guys an opportunity to participate in the game. For example, Ryan McCullum is a partial participant today. He's got an opportunity to maybe be a full participant Saturday night. And so I'll just simply live day by day and see how it goes. But that's just one example of it. Those are the decisions that happen this time of year. We don't have to present participation lists and things of that nature like you do in the regular season. And so we're able to carry it to the 11th hour.
Anything specifically you want to see from Caleb this time around?
I just want to see him trust himself more. I want to see him play more instinctually, trust his talents. And that's reasonable to expect between the first experience and the second experience.
Yeah, so Caleb Johnson's probably the biggest thing to watch this week, for me at least. They're not playing anyone else that I think is going to have an impact this year, and I do expect him to have a pretty solid impact. It seems clear to me that Tomlin sees Jaylen Warren as the clear number one running back right now, which is interesting to me because I honestly did expect a 1-2 punch, but with everything going so far, I think it's going to be a lot of Warren, at least early in the season.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. I think Caleb Johnson was just a little nervous, maybe out there. It's being the first game, in the NFL, and maybe we'll get to see a little bit, of improvement with, him being able to start to see some film and be able to practice some more. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe they would do what they did last season with Najee and Jalen, like you said, a 1-2 thing. But I think I definitely agree with you. I do think that it looks like we're going to see a lot more Jalen Warren than we will see of Caleb Johnson for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Just everyone sitting for all three does kind of like make it tough to project what's going to be happening. But you expect, the way I'm seeing it is the guys who are not going to be playing are the guys that they see have like solidified positions.
Yes.
And just from the look of that, I think we're going to see a lot of Jalen Warren.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I'm not against either.
Mike Rogers said that when he was on the headset last week that he was the voice of reason, sometimes the comic relief. What did he add on the headset during that preseason game?
Nothing official. We just wanted him to hear how we function. We felt that'd be beneficial in terms of him getting a sense of how we function and communicate and so forth. And so nothing official in terms of his ad.
Talk about guys taking advantage of opportunities. What have you seen Roman Wilson do in the absence of Calvin Austin during your practices?
I think his performance has zero to do with Calvin, to be honest with you. His performance is about his growth and development, and I like the trajectory of it. He's made plays when called upon. He's hardworking and available day in and day out. He brings a good can-do attitude. He's an example of a second-year guy that although he didn't have a lot of playing experience from last year, is his second year in the program, and it should show, and it has.
I'm getting cautiously optimistic about Roman Wilson this season. The fact that they haven't got anyone, there's still rumors out there. McLaurin just asked for a trade. OBJ is out there. There's a lot of things floating around with the Steelers, but I think that they're comfortable with their receiving core. And the only thing that makes sense to me is if they just see more in Wilson than we, as the public, has gotten to see so far.
Yeah, I mean, he sustained. I think he had an injury last season, so we really didn't get to see much of him at all. And what we did get to see of him in the last game, he looked pretty decent out there. But yeah, I agree. I think that they're kind of content with where they're at with their receivers. I know we've talked about it again. Another thing we talked about, them looking to get another number 2 guy for wide receiving core. Will it happen? I don't know right now, but I think they are content right now with what they have for wide receiver. I just don't foresee them going after anybody else at the moment.
And like Rogers made the comments early on, I think, about Wilson that were like pretty positive. So some of them along the lines of Wilson asking what he wanted him to do on like each certain routes and everything like that. And Rogers just told him to be himself. And the way it was read, even though that doesn't mean anything, me saying it, the way I was watching it, it seemed like Rogers thought pretty well of Wilson as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned Calvin in your opening. Is he
his availability is based on health, and so we'll see.
Will all healthy players work today? I think you guys might have helped TJ out last year for the joint.
All healthy players are scheduled to work today.
Like you mentioned Mike Evans and the threat that he is in the red zone. When you have a lot of capable corners and guys who are kind of alphas who want that matchup against number 1 kind of wide receiver, what are some of the conversations like in terms of in that room?
Not a whole lot of conversations. Jalen's going to get it. Some people may hate it, and I love that competitive spirit in the collective, but I think it's already been decided.
One of those people hate it.
You can name whoever you want to name. Competitive young people want the matchup, but it's already been decided.
So that answered some questions because we weren't sure how they were going to use Ramsey. And it looks like they're using him as cornerback number 1.
Yeah.
I know we had talked a little bit about how he's going to fit in with Fitzpatrick leaving, but he's going to be CB1. It looks like,
Yeah.
and I think that's news that we really haven't heard yet. But now I was expecting him to be moving around a little bit. Maybe that's still the case, but they're going to shadow the number one receiver on the other side. It sounds like, at least early on in the season. We'll see how it works out, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe they already had this already planned out when they signed him. They just knew that he was going to be the guy. I mean, I know that in the past, before he had got there, I think JPJ was our guy as our number one, but I think, now, with the acquisition of Ramsey, I think they knew that when they got him signed that he was going to be their guy, and now Mike Tomlin just confirmed it there, and so now with that, I'm just kind of curious as to now what they're going to do with that secondary with filling Minka's spot. Who's going to be the guy? Maybe we're going to have to see the rest of the preseason games to see who's going to fill that spot. But right now, it looks like probably for sure Ramsey 1. I guess JPJ is going to be 2, or who knows? He may be a slot guy now. Who knows what they're going to do now with what the rest is going to happen with the rest of these guys are going to get out there and get some time in the preseason.
Yeah, you expect that they're going to go with the 3 cornerbacks, Slay out there too, the 3 of them being out there. So I'm guessing Slay will get a lot of slot time.
Yeah.
But Thornhill, I think he's going to be there a lot. He's going to be pretty much replacing Fitzpatrick at this point, right?
Yeah.
Elliott's still around, but Elliott's going to be playing like he did last year. So I guess that's how we're going with it. We'll see how it goes and see. It'll be a different setup for sure, where you're not going to have and he wasn't last year, so maybe you're not even going to. But Minka wasn't that guy last year, but what he was expected to be out there, you don't got that anymore. So
no, not at all.
Let's
see what happens. Yeah.
Got to be something going on different out there then, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, maybe Terrell Austin's going to have a new defensive scheme this season, with the new acquisition.
At least like wrinkles,
guys.
maybe wrinkles that we haven't seen yet. But let's go on.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned,
any Tom Moore stories?
I don't personally. Obviously, I've known and respected Coach for a long time, man, and I respect his relationship with the game. You don't do it as long as he's done it and continue to do it without an awesome, unbelievable relationship and passion and respect for this game.
Like you mentioned before you left Latrobe, the defense has the potential to be historic. What specifically would that involve?
I wasn't talking specifics. I was just talking about the ingredients that I'm looking at. Obviously, there's a lot of ground between now and then, and effort and work and so forth. And so I simply was answering a question. I wasn't trying to make any bold predictions, certainly, and I definitely wasn't trying to outline what that might be in any level of detail. It's just too much work in front of us to do that. What I meant by it is I like our collection of talent. I like our development of schematics to this point in the journey. It feels really good.
I don't know. Isn't it, to me, it kind of feels like it could turn into one of those Lakers with Karl Malone and all that, where like you have these big names, you have these Hall of Famers, but they're getting up there in age. I was going to get to Hayward at the end here, but he's up there. He's not practicing right now. Tomlin is very confident in Jalen Ramsey. So hopefully that's a good sign. Hopefully it's not him just leaning on the fact that he's a veteran. But there's definitely good pieces here. Great names, but historic. I'm not expecting this defense to be historically good this year.
I'm not either. And again, you can put all these players on one team and all these great names and all this great talent together. But if they don't mesh, if they don't, work as a team, it doesn't mean they're going to be good. I mean, you might have a play here, a play there, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to, be able to mesh together and be a team. I mean, I kind of can see this. I think there's a lot of guys on this defense now that want to be the alpha, that want to be the guy. You got a lot of big names, and you got a lot of people that are seeing TJ's contract now and like, oh, he's the highest paid. Well, now I want to be the highest paid. I want to be, and then I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy. It's like I think that they're going to be a good defense, but if they cannot get it together to where they're going to play together as a team, they're just going to be a team that you have big names on, and they're just going to make plays here and there, and that's just going to be it.
Mm-hmm. And like I'm not even sold on the parts, the sum versus the parts. I'm not even sold on the parts being what they were throughout their whole careers. I expect them to be a top 10 defense. The question is whether or not they're going to come through and stop the run when they need to stop the run. Don't give up that big first down over the middle or big that. They seem to fall apart sometimes, even with the great stats that they've had the last few years. I'm expecting them to be, like I said, top 10, but I just don't see. I'm not visualizing this as a number one defense. I don't compare it to the Super Bowl defenses we've had recently. So maybe I'll be wrong, but we'll find out.
As our friend Ben says, highest paid defense, overpaid and underrated. I mean, it's
overpaid and overrated.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, overpaid and overrated. Sorry, overpaid and overrated, not underrated. Overpaid and overrated. That's right. We've seen it in the past where you have all this talent and you're paying all these guys all this money, and yet they can't make a play when the play needs to be made. So let's hope to go into the season that they're going to play well. But what we've seen in the past with what they've done, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to believe that they're going to be that great.
Yeah, I gotta see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of talk about going to 18 games and 2 preseason games at some point in the future. Are practices like today a good enough substitute for a shortened preseason?
I'm really not ready to have an opinion on those hypotheticals. I'm just trying to get this group ready in 2025, and I hadn't thought about to any great detail the possibilities of those things where I could give you a credible answer.
Mike, you talked about the potential of playing, or the excitement of playing Vita Vea. Of course, he lines up with Kalijah Kancey, a guy that's a bit different in size and skill than you saw. What does the excitement give you see your young offensive line against 2 different guys at D tackle that are that different of skill sets?
It's just an example of what ball is like in our league and the challenges that you face week in and week out, and probably equally as important, the specialization. Some guys are run stoppers, some guys are pass specialists. You got to be ready to face a myriad of specialized talent week in and week out. Some of it comes in the form of 4-3 structure, which is a different animal. Those edge players are closer to 300 pounds. Some of it comes in the form of 3-4 structure. Those edge players are closer to 250, 260 pounds. And so the challenges are different week in and week out, but that's just ball at this level.
How was the way you've handled it?
Just to get at it, there he was talking about the 2 linemen for Tampa sitting next to each other. You have Kancey is 6 foot 280, and then Vita Vea is 6'4", 347. So there is a big difference between 2 guys that are considered interior linemen, interior defensive linemen. But it's a fun little comparison there.
Preseason over the years evolved. Obviously, going from 4 preseason games a long time ago to now 3. How do you handle it, or is it just year by year?
It's evolved in a natural way, but it's also evolved in a reactionary sort of way. The rules that govern what it is that we do, how we put our calendars together, how we work, the amount of work we're allowed, etc., the time of hours a day that we get with the guys, all of that has changed over the course of my 19 years here. And so some of it has evolved in a natural way due to knowledge and experience. Some of it has just simply been reactionary to changing regulations. I never even kind of look at it in that framework. I really just look at the tools at my disposal in terms of readying this group and the guidelines I have to subscribe to in an effort to do so. And so I don't think I waste a lot of time comparing this group's preparation to one 15 years ago, because it's not apples and apples.
Are you anticipating this being?
Kind of gets into what we were talking about, how preparation is just different, right? That's the biggest takeaway from it. I don't know if there's anything
No, it's just,
philosophical to add to it, or
no,
anything
not
like
at
that.
all. It's a different time. It's a different
Yeah.
culture now than it was, like you said, about 19 years ago. So it's
Mhm.
different now.
Yep.
Aaron's preseason today.
Again, I'll deal with next week. Nice try.
Coach, in terms of, I know you can't get specifics of guys on the roster bubble, but cut down day, I mean, are there a lot of guys really impressing you where it's going to be a hell of a choice today?
It really is. And I like to describe it as, when you get a good 90 together, you got a chance to put together a good 53, and there's no question that this is a good 90. It's been highly competitive. I've seen growth and development, particularly in a lot of the younger and newer guys to us and to the league. And so it's certainly going to be some tough decisions, but it's their job to make it tough decisions, and they've done it. But I also acknowledge that we have a lot of ball in front of us between now and then. The cut downs have changed over the 19 years that I've been here in terms of the decisions that you have to make and when and how many. And so having him begin to look at it from that perspective, because we got a lot of quality days between now and those decisions.
So the big question is, with cut down days, is your new Edelman going to make this roster list?
I don't know. What Tomlin just said, with everything changing and still having a little bit of ball left, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough because
still 53.
Still,
right?
Yeah, it's still 53-man roster, and he said they have about 90 right now. So it's like, I mean, you got to get rid of almost 40 players. It's going to be tough to kind of, you want to keep the best 53. That's showing you the best talent out there. I would love to see him as maybe a special team guy to make some plays here and there, but I don't know. He may not make the cut.
Hopefully for you, we can just maybe the problem is he's playing the wrong position. Maybe he should be out there.
Maybe.
In the spring or the off season, saying I want to schedule one of these joints, or trying to get a good fit, somebody to come to you, a coach.
I'm always open, but it has to be a good dance partner. And obviously the Bucks are a good dance partner. Coach Bowles and company are a good dance partner. Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills were a good dance partner a year ago, my former college teammate. And so I'm always open, but only if it fits and works, scheduling and opponent.
Are you open to dancing at their venues in the future in a preseason for a joint practice?
Depends on what the schedule is. That's somewhat hypothetical. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
I think a couple players said last year your role with the Bills was if you fight, you're just done for the day. Is that the case again?
I'm not worried about fights happening. I'm looking forward to a really productive day of work, and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Two more. Mike, Aaron said the other day when talking about the joint practices that it helps when you've got maybe a veteran team on the other side of it. When you're talking about the right ingredients, because those guys are just maybe about the work as opposed to the extracurriculars. And in your experience, does that make a good dance partner?
Again, guys, I have zero reservations about the extracurriculars, although I know it's fun and interesting for you guys to report on. That's not why we're here today. We're here to have a really good, productive football day against a worthy opponent and sharpen our skills and get collectively and individually better.
Right, but does a more veteran team maybe serve as a more attractive opponent in these circumstances?
Again, by dance partner, usually I'm talking about coaching staff, their schematics, and things of that nature, and less about the collective age or experience of the group.
All right.
That reporter would not give up.
No.
The Tomlin was not giving him anything either. I don't know. It was such a stupid point to have a follow-up.
Yeah.
I just so that's Tomlin for this week.
Yeah.
Into a lot of things there. Is there anything that he went over that you think I should have mentioned? I didn't mention.
No, I think everything, all the topics we talked about were probably the main ones that pretty much were going on. I mean, there's only so much you could talk about for preseason because Tom was only going to give us what Tom was going to give us. He's not going to give us anything that not everything, and even what reporters asking trying to dig and dig and dig. He's not going to do it. So he's only going to give us what we can get. And that's about, what we can talk about.
And I think a big sign of that fact is that no Hayward questions, no Boswell questions. I'm sure he's gotten them before this week, but you would expect it would keep coming in. But no, nothing between the two of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
We really haven't talked about that. You can give your comments on it. I do love that we were talking all this shit on TJ Watt.
Yeah.
And then the guy who comes in, the pure heart and soul Steeler, is the one who's going to have a sit-in after we're talking all our shit.
The captain himself.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, let's not do this. Either you're going to play or you're not. You know what I mean? Like, let's
Yeah,
not.
it's such a weird situation, too, with him because he got such a big roster bonus already.
Yeah.
That his, actual week-to-week game checks aren't going to be that much. So he might fucking sit out. I could honestly see him sitting out because I don't think that they're going to be willing to pay.
I don't.
They got some cap space, and as the season rolls in,
Yeah.
I mean, if you got the space, maybe just throw him something there. But it's definitely unique to come back for another contract a year after receiving your contract.
Yeah, I mean, because he complained. I think it was last year. He went to Twitter and complained about it, and now he's complaining again. It's like, you're up there in age. I get it. You're very talented. I get that, but it's like, what are we willing to give you and risk injury with you being older? You know what I mean? And you're supposed to be the captain. You're supposed to set the example. You're not supposed to be the one complaining, and you're the one complaining. So then now you got all those younger guys who can be like, well, he's the captain. He's our leader. So we might as well do the same thing. So, I don't know. I just don't get it.
And it's the same thing with Watt. I think I'm pretty sure I said it. There's no playoff wins here to talk about. There's no true winning that you would expect from a Steeler for me to care for you. For obviously get your bag, as they say, but I'm not going to care one way or the other. But what is your prediction with it? Do you expect him to get a deal? Do you expect him to come back without a deal and start week 1, or do you expect him to maybe miss some time?
I think they're just going to do the same thing with TJ. They're just going to bow to him and give him something. I think it's just what's going to happen. And then
is he going to have a cool tweet about time to work?
For sure. Oh yeah, he's going to do it. Oh yeah, he's
time to get back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to do something silly, and then it's just going to be like, dude, like you just bitched and complained about getting a new contract, and now you're going to be like, oh, let's go get there and win a Super Bowl for this team. I agree with you. Do something in the playoffs. You make the playoffs. I want to see 10 sacks.
He's 1-8.
I want to see 10 sacks. I want to see 10 sacks in the wild card game. When you make it to the wild card, I want to see 10 sacks. Then you can talk to me. Come on.
Yeah. Then you got Boswell. The money that he's asking for is a lot less than the money that I'm assuming Hayward's asking for. He's been the best kicker in the league for a while. He didn't just get a contract last year. So I do think his situation is a little different. But for him at the same time, you're a kicker.
Yeah.
Should you be making a distraction, even how little it could be? And he's not. I mean, neither is Hayward, really. It's not really a distraction at this point. We wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't reported finally.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, neither guy's like creating this mess. It's just there's the irony with Hayward and just the idea that I don't care at this point. Whether or not you've been paid $13 million already this season. You're going to be paid $15 million in total. It's tough for me to argue that at 36 that you should be getting more.
Exactly.
Boswell's pitch, hey, I'm the best kicker in the league. I'm being paid well less than that. Maybe he deserves a little more, but I can't care too much about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's win some games. Let's
be careful because he might get Wally pipped because my boy Ben Saul's not a fit.
Ben Saul's looking pretty good out there.
Looking good
preseason. So yeah, he might be taking the spot. Who knows? But I think they're going to pay him too. I just think they're going to do it. I think come down to the season getting ready to start. I think they're going to pay him as well. I think that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah. The thing is whether or not they find a receiver. Because if they find a receiver, they're going to have to pay that guy money. There won't be money for anyone else. But if they can't get a receiver in here, they're probably I think they'll pay both guys. With I mean, who knows what they'll do with Hayward because he's already on a 3-year kind of deal. Maybe they just guarantee the money for next year.
Yeah.
That's something they could do without changing what the money is. But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
What's going on there? Any other sports-related topics you want to talk about before you head out?
No, nothing I can really think of. I don't think there's really much going on. I mean, Pirates are
the Pirates season's ended.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the last game of the year.
Yeah.
Not much else going on.
Yeah. Pirates are the Pirates. You know,
my camera just went out because we brought up the Pirates.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. Yeah. The Pirates is the Pirates.
I'm not gonna give them any time. I mean, I'm watching and I'm following along, but I'm not gonna speak of them.
Yeah, I got you.
For the rest of the season,
I got you. They did what they could. Yeah, they did what they could, and that's where they're at.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. All right. Well,
with that note, I'll see you, Lee. Have a good night.
I'll see you. Yeah, have a good one.